The water didn't look real. That's the first thing I remember. Not the land. Not the silence. Not even the fact that I had just spent my last dollar on something no one else wanted. Just the color. It was blue. Not the kind of blue you see in lakes. Not the kind you see in the ocean. This was deeper. Stronger. Almost like it was glowing from underneath. And the longer I looked at it, the harder it was to look away. My name is Caleb Mercer. I was 16 when they kicked me out of the orphanage. No warning. No second chances. Just a sentence that didn't even sound real when I first heard it. You've aged out. That was it. I stood there in the office, staring at the director like I was waiting for him to say something else. Something that made sense. Something that sounded like a mistake. That's it. I asked. He adjusted his glasses like he'd had this conversation too many times before. We don't have the resources to keep you any longer. 16 years. 16 years of being passed between rooms, schedules, rules, and faces that changed every few months. And that's what it came down to. A sentence. A dismissal. A system deciding it was done with me. So what happens now? I asked. He didn't hesitate. You'll need to find your own arrangements. I laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it didn't feel real. You mean? I'm just out. He slid an envelope across the desk. There's a small stipend to help you transition. I picked it up. Opened it. $15. That was the number attached to my entire life. $15. I looked back at him. That's supposed to help? He didn't answer. Because there wasn't an answer. A few minutes later, I was outside. Just like that. No goodbye. No plan. No one waiting for me. Just a sidewalk. A sky that suddenly felt too big. And a world that didn't care. I started walking. Because standing still made it worse. The town around the orphanage wasn't much. A grocery store. A gas station. A few small buildings. People moving through their lives like everything made sense. No one stopped me. No one asked if I was okay. And honestly, I didn't expect them to. That first night, I slept behind the gas station. Concrete floor. The hum of machines. The smell of fuel lingering in the air. I counted the money 3 times. $15. It didn't feel like money. It felt like a countdown. The next morning, I left. Not because I had somewhere to go, but because staying meant being seen. And being seen meant questions. And I didn't have answers. The road out of town stretched longer than I expected. Fields on both sides. Trees in the distance. The kind of silence that makes your thoughts louder. Hours passed. The sun climbed higher. My legs got heavier. And for the first time, I started to feel it. Not fear. Not exactly. Just the realization that there was no one coming. No backup. No second chance. It was just me. And whatever I could figure out. That's when I saw the sign. It was small. Easy to miss. Leaning slightly to one side. Like even it had given up trying to stay upright. Land for sale. $1. I stopped walking. Read it again. $1. That didn't make sense. Nothing costs $1. Even broken things cost more than that. I looked around. Nothing. No houses. No buildings. No people. Just the sign. And the arrow beneath it. Pointing into the trees. I hesitated. Then followed it. The path wasn't really a path. More like a suggestion. Dirt pressed down just enough to show that someone had walked there before. The trees grew thicker the deeper I went. The air changed. Cooler. Quieter. Like the world outside had been left behind. After a few minutes, the path opened into a clearing. And everything stopped. Because that's when I saw it. The water. Right in the center of the clearing. Perfectly still. Perfectly blue. Not reflecting the sky. Not moving with the wind. Just existing. Like it didn't belong to anything around it. I stepped closer slowly. The ground near it was soft. Greener than the rest of the clearing. Healthier. Alive in a way that didn't match the rest of the land. I crouched down near the edge. The surface didn't ripple. Didn't react. It just stayed there. Unmoving. Unnatural. I reached out. My fingers stopping just above it. Something about it felt wrong. Not dangerous. Just different. Like it didn't follow the same rules as everything else. You're not supposed to be here. The voice snapped me out of it. I turned. An older man stood at the edge of the clearing. Weathered face. Sunburned skin. Hands that looked like they'd spent years working the land. He didn't look surprised to see me. Just tired. I saw the sign, I said. He nodded. Most people do. Why is it so cheap? He looked at the water. Then back at me. Because no one wants it. Why? He shrugged. They say it's strange. That's it. That's enough for most. I looked back at the spring. The color pulled at my attention again. Like it was waiting for something. How long has it been here? I asked. Longer than anyone remembers. And no one uses it. No. He paused. Then added. People tried once. I turned back to him. What happened? He shook his head slightly. They stopped. That didn't answer anything. But somehow, it said enough. I looked back at the water. Then down at my pocket. $15. That was everything I had. Everything I was working with. Every decision from this point on came down to that. And somehow, this felt like a decision. Not a smart one. Not a safe one. But something inside me didn't want to walk away. Because for the first time since I got kicked out, I had found something. Something that felt like more than nothing. I pulled out $1. Held it out. I'll take it. The man looked at me for a long moment. Like he was trying to figure out if I understood what I was doing. Then he took the $1. Well, he said. Guess it's yours. Just like that. I owned land. $1. And everything I had left was standing on it. That first day, I didn't build anything. Didn't change anything. I just stayed. Sat near the water. Watched it. Trying to understand what I had just chosen. But it didn't change. Didn't react. It just stayed there. Silent. Still. By evening, I realized something important. I wasn't leaving. Because for the first time in my life, I had something that was mine. Even if I didn't understand it yet. I built a small shelter using branches and scrap what I found nearby. It wasn't much. But it was enough. That night, I lay under the trees. The clearing quiet around me. The blue water just a few feet away. And for the first time since I got kicked out, I didn't feel completely lost. Because something about this place felt like it was waiting. The next morning, everything changed. Because when I stepped outside, the ground near the spring looked different. Greener. Healthier. Like it had grown overnight. I walked closer and froze. Small plants had sprouted along the edge of the water. Fresh. Alive. Impossible. I looked at the water. Then back at the ground. And suddenly, that strange blue color didn't feel mysterious anymore. It felt powerful. Like it wasn't just water. Like it was something else. Something that could change everything. And I had just found it. For a long moment, I didn't move. I just stood there, staring at the ground like if I looked away, it would disappear. The plants were real. Not small changes. Not slow growth. Real, visible, overnight growth. I crouched down slowly. Ran my fingers through the soil. It felt warm. Not hot. Not unnatural. Just alive. I looked back at the spring. That same impossible blue. Still perfectly still. Like it hadn't done anything at all. That's not normal, I whispered. But nothing about this place was. I spent the next few hours testing it. Because I needed to understand it. I found a dry patch of dirt a few feet away. Hard. Cracked. Dead. I dug a small hole. Poured a handful of the blue water into it. Then waited. At first, nothing happened. I almost laughed. Thought maybe I imagined it all. Then, the soil shifted. Just slightly. Then more. A small green shoot pushed through the surface. I fell back onto my hands. Staring at it. No way. Plants don't grow like that. Not in seconds. Not in front of your eyes. But this did. I stood up slowly. My heart racing. Because suddenly, this wasn't just strange. It was something else. Something powerful. Something no one else knew about. And it was mine. The next few days changed everything. I didn't leave the clearing. Didn't go back to the road. Didn't think about anything else. I worked. I cleared space around the spring. Built rows in the soil. Planted everything I could find. Wild seeds. Berries. Even scraps of plants I found nearby. Then I watered them. And watched. Every time. The same thing happened. Growth. Fast. Unnatural. Perfect. Within a week. The clearing looked completely different. Green. Full. Alive. Food grew faster than I could eat it. Fruits. Vegetables. Plants I didn't even recognize. All thriving. All because of the water. I built a better shelter. Used stronger branches. More structure. Then I expanded. Built a small storage area. A place to keep food. A place to work. For the first time in my life, I wasn't struggling to survive. I was building something. Something real. Something that didn't depend on anyone else. Then I noticed something else. The animals. They started showing up. At first, just birds. Then rabbits. Then deer. All drawn to the clearing. To the water. But none of them touched it. They drank from puddles nearby. Ate the plants. But they never went into the spring itself. Like they knew something I didn't. That feeling came back. Not fear. But awareness. Like this place had rules. And I hadn't figured them all out yet. A week later. Everything changed again. Because someone found me. I was working near the edge of the clearing when I heard footsteps. Not animals. People. I turned. A man stepped into the clearing. The same one from before. The one who sold me the land. He stopped when he saw it. The plants. The growth. The change. This wasn't here before, he said. No, I replied. His eyes moved slowly across the clearing. Then to the spring. You used it. I nodded. He exhaled slowly. I wondered how long it would take. That caught my attention. You knew? I asked. Not exactly. He stepped closer. But I knew something was different about that water. Then why sell it? He looked at me. Because I never saw it do anything. I frowned. It works. I can see that. He crouched near one of the plants. Touched it. It shouldn't, he said quietly. I didn't argue. Because I already knew that. We stood there for a while. Then he said something that changed everything. People are going to notice this. I looked around. The clearing wasn't small anymore. The growth was obvious. Too obvious. What happens if they do? I asked. He stood up slowly. They'll take it. That hit harder than anything else. Because I knew he was right. Places like this don't stay hidden forever. And when people find them, they don't leave them alone. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat by the spring, watching it, thinking about everything I had built, everything I had found, and everything I could lose. Because for the first time, I had something worth losing. The next morning, the storm came. Fast. Heavy clouds rolled in. Wind pushing through the trees. Rain starting in thick drops. The clearing changed instantly. Water pooled around the edges. The ground softened. But the plants didn't collapse. They held. Stronger than anything I'd ever seen. That's when I heard it. Voices. Distant. Then closer. Over here. I stood up. 3 people stumbled into the clearing. Soaked. Exhausted. Lost. Please, one of them said. We've been out here all night. I hesitated. Just for a second. Then nodded. Come in. They stepped into the clearing. And froze. The same reaction everyone had. Confusion. Shock. What is this place? One of them asked. I looked at the spring. Then at everything around it. And for the first time, I understood. It's a second chance, I said. We brought them under shelter. Gave them food. Water. And something else. Hope. The storm lasted 2 days. But no one in that clearing went hungry. No one got hurt. And when it ended, everything felt different. The clearing wasn't just mine anymore. It was something bigger. Something that mattered. That evening, I stood by the spring, watching the water. Still. Silent. Powerful. And for the first time since I got kicked out, I wasn't thinking about what I lost. I was thinking about what I had found. Because sometimes, the most forgotten places end up holding the most powerful beginnings.